I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. I will note that all board members are present with the exception of Council President Hudson, Karen Cordano, and Derek Carr, all of whom are excused. And I'll just note that we have Pamela Odom here sitting in for the superintendent. So thank you, Pam, for joining us, taking one for the team. Great. So we'll go ahead. We've got just a couple agenda items here. First is is accepting the June 26th, 2025 minutes, which are in the packet. I will note that, they are right behind the first page. So entertain a motion to accept the minutes.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. All right, next up, we will go to our report from our secretary, Joe Barry. Morning, Joe.
Yes, good morning, Mayor and board members. Welcome on a hot day.
Yeah.
More to come. Just a quick update. We moving along, both staff and our outside consultants, on the comprehensive plan, which the program manager will have more detail about shortly. And as a subcomponent of that, we're working on the financial plan. And we anticipate more internal meetings to move that along to get it before the board.
Okay.
In addition, our outside counsel is working with Sealer Engineering on a draft PLA feasibility study. Tim Sealer did the work for both Phase 1 and Phase 2, so he's very familiar with it. And we hope to have that coming along shortly as well.
Very good.
And that completes my report.
Thank you, Joe. Any questions for
Thank
Joe?
you.
Okay. Moving right on, we will go next to our program manager for a report, and welcome back, Chris.
Thanks. So Sean and I are going to talk to you a little bit about what we've been working on here. As Joe mentioned, the putting the comp plan together has been a focus. And as part of that, a big part of that is developing what the plan is for schedule-wise in terms of how we're going to sequence buildings and what we're going to do. So just wanted to spend a minute on that this morning. I apologize for the small prints there. We had 11 by 17s and didn't get them here, so we can certainly send you a PDF of that so you can zoom into that so you can see that a little bit better. But hopefully that will work, I think, largely for what we're going to talk about. So in developing this schedule, I just wanted to talk conceptually about some of the things that we've been trying to, the puzzle pieces, if you will, of how we put this thing together. We were asked that, from a financing perspective, that we try and stick to 4 bonds, the $400 million and roughly $100 million per bond. So that was one component that we're trying to figure out. Where do those borrowings land, and being conscious of cash flow and what we borrow when. So that was one component. The second one that we kind of built around was the summers, and that's the yellow bars that you see represented, the vertical yellow bars that you see represented there. So that the concept here involves using 2 swing schools that we're going to move folks into and out of. And we wanted to sequence those to land so that Tom and his team are doing that move during the summer months. It's obviously the best opportunity for them to be able to, and least disruptive for the operations of the buildings to do that. So that was the second kind of piece that we built around for that. The third one was that we're trying to limit the number of buildings that we had under construction at once. Something that history taught us in the previous one, having 5 of these going all at once was definitely a chore. It was a tax on folks being involved. It was a tax on our labor force, and it was just a lot going on. So we've tried to sequence this. We do have some overlap between the construction periods, as you can see there. So there's a little bit of overlap, but fundamentally we're trying to just keep that so that we have 3 buildings. So the two elementary middle at any given time, and then 1 high school. And then the high school work would be obviously phased, and the plan for the high school work is that bridges over 3 summers typically is what we do, so that we have enough time in there to do what we need to do on that. So those were the constants. The other one was we've been looking hard at trying to get that blue line, the vertical blue line that you see in 27. Our focus has been to try and get construction to start in that fall of 27, whether that's 3rd quarter or 4th quarter, but that was our plan. And in order to do that, there's a few constraints that we have that we want to talk a little bit about, some of which are out of our control, such as the OSC approval, but we've been working hard to try and get that comp plan done so that we can get it into Office of State Comptroller and get that approval process started. Last time that took us upwards of 5 months to get there. We've identified some more moderately aggressive durations here, hoping that we can better some of those. And I think we have plans to mitigate that on some, but there's others there that are going to be kind of out of our control until we get there. So we'll see where we are. So with that said, Sean was going to talk a little bit about the constraints that are on here and some of the things that we're just being mindful of as we go forward. But that's the general flow. It's a pre-con period followed by a construction period, and you can kind of see how that rolls out and extends out all the way out into 2035, I think is where we are right now in terms of that. But Sean, if you want to just talk through, can folks see that? Because we can Zoom, but I think he's going to speak to.
I can see it better than what's in front of me here.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, that's.
Chris mentioned some of the constraints we have. OSC approval, we're currently targeting 3 months for that duration. Looking back at previous phase, it took about 5 months. Another component that SCD put in conversations with SCD, they're requiring us to do a preliminary submission before we start design, and that could add a couple months that we weren't anticipating to the design process. We've since then gone back and talked to SCD about submitting that preliminary submission with our schematic design submission. They seem receptive to it, but they're still reviewing it. We've got another call with them next week, so hopefully we can eliminate that constraint.
I apologize, but for those many viewers on YouTube, they're just not going to be able to hear any of this. So if you could either use this mic or use this mic. Yeah, thanks.
Just to recap that SCD preliminary submission requirement, we're working with SCD to see if we can submit that with our SD submission. Hopefully, we'll have an answer on that next week, which would remove that constraint. Next constraint that we've identified in the pre-con process here is awarding architect contracts before we get OSC approval. Currently, we're planning on awarding it after we get OSC approval. If that duration changes, it could delay the award of the architects, which would impact that schedule. Another constraint is the architect engineer award. Last phase, it took us like 9 months to award those. We're showing a 5-month duration now, so hopefully we can better that and shorten that duration. A couple notes for the pre-construction are the design durations. We've got about 13 months planned in there for the architects to design. We've got 1 month in there for SED approval, and then 1 month for SED approval, and then bid and award about a 3-month duration.
Need your password, Sean. Or
You'll have to sign in. So as Sean's pulling that up, the one thing, that blue line where we want to start in that fall, right? So the two constraints that he talked about, I mean, if our concern is OSC approval takes longer, award, obviously if we award contracts, they're going to start working, they're going to want to get paid, and there's a risk component to that. But to try and eliminate that constraint, it'd be great if we could maybe allow them to advance up to a point, to maybe up to SD and then stop or something. I'm just worried about that, and that's a constraint. And if we don't, as Sean said, we have 13 months for them to design. If we don't get them drawing, that is going to impact that ability to start, which would mean we can still swing the first set of schools out, but it would have a direct impact on the construction duration that follows. So just trying to take a few of these that are variables at the moment and turn them into constants. And so we're trying to come up with, and we're not asking for any action today on that. We're just trying to ID those and understand where the kind of the inherent roadblocks might be here. So go ahead.
question from Steve.
Question. The acronym OSC.
Oh, Office of State Comptroller.
Great, thank you.
Just a mouthful, so we.
No, I get it.
We shortened it up.
It was a new one for me.
No worries.
And then in the blue box there, just outlining some of the anticipated milestones to get the comprehensive plan approved. In mid-August, we're going to submit a draft to JSCB staff for review and comment. Then on the 20th, we're going to upload to the school board working session for the 27th. School board has a working session on the 27th, and then a regularly scheduled meeting on September 10th. Hopefully, we'll have approval from the school board at that meeting, and then we'll be back to the JSCB board on the 25th of September for approval, and then shortly thereafter submit to State Ed and Office of State Comptroller.
And our focus after that, obviously, once that goes in, we've got a bit of a period of time where we're going to prep for the architect and the CM RFPs and get that process mapped and try and get that there. So, questions? I know there's a lot going on up there, so happy to talk through any of the points up there.
So that sounds like that entire RFP process would have to be accelerated
For the architects?
for the architects, right?
We've budgeted 5 months in there, Chuck, from issuance of RFP to award is the 5 months that we've identified there. And we're trying to do that to coincide with, we had 3 months in there for OSC, so we've got a little bit of margin between that. We got about a couple months there.
It's like half of what we did last time.
The 5 months?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And I'm only asking because that's the first domino, right?
It-
If you don't have the architect's work done, the rest of it
They're not.
all backs up.
Right, agreed. So one of the things we talked about was trying to get committees established ahead of time so that once the RFPs are out, we're ready to roll. As soon as they come in, we can start the interviews and get the committee formed so that hopefully we can make that award process efficient and we can get there quicker. So.
Is it JSCB, is it our body that conducts the RFP process as opposed to the traditional city process, Joe?
Actually, under the state legislation, it's tied into the traditional city process.
It is.
And that's how we did the RFP for program manager and financial advisor.
Okay,
The difference, though, is the board has a seat on the committee.
got it.
So the transmittal from budget to you,
Right.
asking to form a committee. We had formed kind of a standing committee for the last 3 RFPs. And so one of the thoughts is we kind of have that permanent committee, so we're not
Right.
reforming for every RFP.
Okay. I see, obviously quite a bit of construction taking place throughout the year. Where and when are we going to need swing space?
So the first two buildings there between Webster and Seymour are the first two that are up, and then Nottingham is the high school. So you would swing, well, Webster and Seymour. Go ahead. He went.
We would swing Webster to Levy and then Seymour to
Shay?
Shea. And then Nottingham, that would be a phased renovation over the course of working second shift and then utilizing the summers.
So they'll be in the building. They're not moving. We're not moving them. But Webster and Seymour will be out for.
About a 24-month duration,
Yeah.
start to finish. And then once those buildings are finished, we would start the next set of buildings,
Okay.
swinging those out and then starting construction.
This may be more for Tom back there. Just wondering about the condition of Levy and Shea and making sure that they're going to be ready to host our students.
They're ready.
They're ready.
We've been cleaning them actually this summer, even though we don't need them to next summer. And our IT department has been updating the interactive whiteboards and stuff like that. So yeah,
Good.
those buildings are going to be fully ready.
Great. Thank you.
Is that also the reason why Nottingham's duration is so long? Because they're not moving out?
Because, yeah, we can't swing any of the high schools. So yes, we've 3 summers for the high schools is what's anticipated, just because we've got to move people in, move people out, move people back. So much the same as what we did in the last project in terms of that. So
Just looking at Webster and Seymour again, it looks like they're scheduled to be done prior to the summer of '29, but presumably that gives us a little wiggle room as opposed to being scheduled to be done on the first day of school? Good.
Yeah, we want that summer, July and August to be that opportunity, gives us a little bit of margin, and it gives
Right.
Tom and company time to get stuff transitioned. And that was kind of the basis of, as you can see, we're trying to line that up that way, all the way across, just to make that a bit more efficient and achievable.
Learn from past experience, right?
We're hoping to, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, we have that, and we used a lot of the forensics from the previous schedule. And like I said, we are trying to be a little bit more aggressive in what we're doing, and we're going to continue to seek, ways to do that as we go forward.
Yeah.
So,
And needless to say, if or when it's helpful to have my office weigh in with any of the, governing bodies or the superintendent's office, please let us know how we as a board can be helpful
Certainly.
in keeping things moving.
we'll certainly take you up on that. So,
Right.
because that one, last time when we had it in for OSC, it was 5 months to get it, and that was an update
Yeah.
to the previous comp plan. This will be the initial comp plan. So state ed is they've been great. They've been working with us. We've been having monthly calls. Tom got that set up, and we haven't been having monthly calls directly with them, which has been really helpful. And they've told us that they can do it in 3 months. That's not a big deal for them. So, but yeah, appreciate that.
It might be the Office of State Comptroller we have to reach out to at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I think just if anything we can do to preempt that and try and let them know that that's a critical piece for us.
Right.
To get going.
Other questions? Anything else from you guys, or was that it?
No, I think we covered the ground. So,
Right. Any other questions for Chris or Sean? Okay. Thank you, guys.
all right, thank you.
Lots to do.
There is.
All right. So
In
that.
terms of the committee,
Yep.
Mayor, I believe
Please.
last time we had 3 board members, the deputy mayor and Dr. DeFlorio.
Okay. That sounds right.
So maybe the next meeting, we can maybe finalize
Formalize
that if
that.
everyone's willing,
Sure.
the different board members that served last time.
Right. Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Sounds good. And then I can email this around to folks so you can read it easier.
Thank you.
I don't know if it's considered final enough to post on the website. Wait a bit till it's more final. Yeah, it's a fluid document, sounds like.
Makes sense. All right.
Thank you.
So looks like we've got one resolution to consider, Joe.
Yes, resolution number 6 of 25 would be our only expense this month, which is the payment to the program manager.
Just get my eyes on it here. Okay. I will entertain a motion.
So moved?
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Resolution is carried. Joe, any other business come before the board?
Not that I know.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you all. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy the
Thank you.
summer.